In the wide-open, fertile lands of rural America, the day starts early for thousands of farmers. With the sun still rising on the horizon, they get ready for another day filled with tradition and hard work. Riding their horses, these men and women travel vast areas daily, caring not only for their animals, but also preserving a living piece of American history. Horses aren't just working animals. They're a key part of America's identity. Ever since the first horses arrived in America around 1493, brought by European settlers, they have completely transformed life on the continent. The peak of this relationship happened in the 1920s, when an estimated 25 million horses roamed American lands. Those were times when everything, transportation, farming, and communication, depended on these animals. But how has this historic relationship evolved into what we see today? What role do horses play in the modern lives of American farmers? To answer these questions, we need to go back in time, when cowboys ruled the Old West. The image of the cowboy riding a horse has become one of the strongest symbols of American culture, representing freedom, adventure, and courage. Have you ever stopped to think about how many horses there are in the United States today? According to the latest USDA data from June 2022, there are roughly 9.2 million horses spread across the country. But do you know where most of them live? Currently, around 450,000 horses are registered on farms throughout the U.S. These farms vary widely in size and purpose, but together they ensure about 21,000 foals are born every year. Can you imagine seeing these animals being born up close year after year? Speaking of impressive numbers, Texas leads the nation with about 930,000 horses, almost a tenth of the country's entire horse population. California comes next with 650,000, followed by Florida, which has roughly 500,000 horses. But what makes these states so appealing for horses? Could it be the climate, the open space, or something unique about local culture? Horses have an amazing way of handling reproduction. Between February and May, springtime, these animals enter a crucial phase in their lives. The weather gets warmer, food becomes plentiful, and it all adds up to create the perfect environment for new horses to come into the world. During this special time, mares go through reproductive cycles lasting around 21 days. But it's important to know that within this cycle, there's only a window of about 4 to 7 days when the mare is truly ready to conceive. It's in this short time frame that nature kicks into high gear, ensuring the continuation of this fascinating species. But the real show starts at birth. As soon as it's born, a foal immediately shows the impressive strength of its kind. Even though it weighs around 110 pounds, the newborn can stand up almost right away. This instinctive ability comes from a long time ago, back when horses needed to quickly get on their feet and move with their herd across open plains just to survive. Right after delivery, the mare begins an essential ritual. She carefully licks her newborn foal, cleaning it and stimulating its muscles, which helps it stand on its legs for the first time. It's a simple gesture, but one that's packed with meaning. Have you ever seen how fragile a newborn foal's first steps are? Taking good care during the first few weeks is key to making sure they grow up healthy and strong. In the first 2 or 3 weeks after birth, foals are moved into separate stalls, their own safe space that helps protect them from injuries and infections. It might seem simple, but this early stage plays a huge role in determining their future. But it's not just about the space. Temperature matters too. Keeping the environment consistently between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit is crucial for healthy development. Any shift from this range could seriously harm the foal's growth. Another essential factor is feeding. A foal needs to drink between 25 and 35 pounds of milk each day, which is roughly 30% of its body weight. This nutrition is critical to support the foal's rapid growth during this period. After these delicate first weeks, the mother and foal can start exploring the outdoors. This stage is when foals begin getting used to the real world, slowly learning to eat grass and take care of themselves. Typically, the foal stays with its mother for about 6 to 8 months, enough time to learn essential life skills. Still, farmers must pay close attention during this phase. There have been worrying cases of foals fatally trampled by other horses when the mother wasn't healthy enough to protect her baby. Watching every detail closely during this transition can truly make the difference between life and death. Taking care of horses might seem simple at first glance, but there's a lot more to it than most people realize. One key point is having a deep understanding of these animals' nutritional needs. Horses require a varied diet, including different types of grasses, fresh herbs, and even concentrated feeds to keep them healthy and energetic. This dietary variety isn't just about preference, it's a necessity. Balancing fiber and protein in a horse's diet is crucial, especially during the warmer months when they burn a lot of energy just to keep their bodies functioning normally. Without special attention to this, a horse's health and performance can be seriously affected. But the care doesn't stop there. In the United States, many breeders not only take great care of the horses they already own, but also regularly invest in buying new foals. It's common practice to maintain a healthy and productive bloodline. Along with this, it's important to provide horses with large pasture areas, giving them enough room to run and exercise naturally. Yet there's a big challenge. Pastures don't always produce enough food year-round. During shortages, breeders face high costs to keep their horses properly fed. To give you an idea, during these times they can spend between $400 and $500 per month on feeding just one horse. Raising horses goes way beyond just putting them in a stable. When it comes to raising these animals, there are many things to consider that directly affect the success of this activity. The first big step is building the stables correctly. A well-planned environment makes a huge difference in the horse's health and well-being, giving them the ideal conditions to grow and develop properly. But don't think the job ends once the structure is built. Keeping the stables clean and organized is essential to prevent illnesses and keep the herd healthy. And this is where another key aspect of horse raising comes in: ongoing health care. Experienced breeders know that daily attention to their animals is crucial for peace of mind. Whether it's through preventive treatments or regular veterinary checkups, this medical routine keeps the herd protected and strong, making day-to-day work on the farm much easier. Nevada, United States. The sun has barely started to rise and a rancher gets ready for his first task of the day, opening the gates and letting his horses out into the open pasture. It's a scene that repeats every morning, but it never loses its energy. At the rancher's signal, the horses run free, side by side, with impressive ease. Among them, little ponies closely follow along, learning the routine and getting used to the group's pace. These ponies are trained early on, building strength and skills, because eventually they'll be responsible for guiding visitors on rides across the vast, beautiful steppe. Today, Nevada is one of the best-known regions for horse breeding in the U.S. Around 78,000 horses are spread across more than 3,000 farms. But not all horses here are domesticated. Beyond these farm-raised animals, Nevada also holds a surprise. About 42,000 wild horses roam freely through the state's plains and mountains, forming the largest group of wild horses in the country. Every year at the end of April, something amazing happens on the farms. Hundreds of farmers get ready to move over 1,500 horses on a journey to find new pastures. It sounds easy, but it's actually a complex task filled with challenges you probably never imagined. Each adult horse eats food daily equal to about 2% of its own weight. That's why, besides plenty of pasture grass, farmers also need to ensure a balanced diet of corn and soybeans. But that's not all. It's essential to have plenty of hay and dry straw stored away. After all, when it rains or storms roll in, grazing becomes impossible, and these stored foods become the only reliable source of nutrition. When the sun begins to set, another important step begins. That's when farmers carefully lead the horses into a fenced, safe area to protect them from the dangers that come with the night. Predators are always lurking around, making horse safety a crucial part of the daily routine. But the story doesn't end here. For things to run smoothly, one detail makes all the difference: horse training. From a young age, horses learn to follow human commands and get comfortable wearing halters. The friendliest foals start this process early on, shaping their behavior for the rest of their lives. And here's an interesting detail you might not know. In the old days, before farm machinery was common, big, strong horses were key to successful fieldwork. Even today, choosing horses for training is done very carefully, focusing on animals that show strength and endurance. Have you ever stopped to think about the role horses still play in modern life, especially in rural areas? Even in times when machines handle almost everything, these animals remain essential partners in everyday farm tasks. It all starts with a simple detail: a hitch attached to a trailer. Once this hitch is set, horses become inseparable companions to farmers. They're not just strong animals, they're allies that make it easy to transport fresh produce, heavy timber, and tools across different parts of the farm. Beyond hauling goods, these animals perform jobs typically done by expensive machinery, such as plowing fields, planting crops, or even chopping wood. In this context, each horse has its own assessed value. Prices can vary greatly, from as low as $750 to an impressive $10,000, depending on each animal's quality, skills, and potential. The moment you break this pattern and start saying no or respond with silence, something shifts. The projections crumble, the mask they've placed on you falls away, and people become confused because suddenly they don't know who they're dealing with anymore. They're forced to look inward, something not everyone is ready to do. When you become unavailable, the other person must confront their own emptiness. The silence you offer reveals the internal noise they've been trying to ignore, and that confrontation can be louder than any shout. When you decide to stop acting as a mirror for someone else's issues, something intense happens. Criticism, drama, and attacks come your way. Not because you're wrong, but because you've stopped being the convenient refuge that hid the shadow of the person blaming you. Jung warned us that we don't become enlightened just by imagining figures of light, but by bringing our darkness into awareness. By stepping away, you're forcing others to. Today's world is filled with noise. People want quick answers, they want to win meaningless arguments, and they want to prove their point at all costs. But there's a powerful force that few people know, and even fewer master: silence. Not passive or timid silence, but a clear, aware silence that reveals reality without any masks. Carl Jung saw this kind of silence as a fertile ground for inner transformation. When we stop reacting impulsively, we start noticing things we'd previously overlooked: emotional patterns, manipulation games, and cycles of self-sabotage. In this state of awareness, the mind becomes clear, and that scares those who depend on our reactions. Have you ever noticed how restless some people become when you don't respond or explain yourself? It's not that they miss you, it's anxiety from losing control of the situation. As long as you're talking, you're playing their game. But when you go silent, you change the rules, and that shift throws off people who thrive on your quick reactions. Some people mistake silence for just the absence of sound, but it's much deeper than that. Silence is a way of managing your own energy, refusing to get swept up by other people's emotions or dragged into draining conflicts that offer no real benefit. It's a conscious choice to protect yourself. Carl Jung said the process of individuation, becoming who we truly are, requires this stepping back, because it's